Welcome to my channel. This is JC Rock and Metal Reviews. My name is John. Today I have a new album review by Stabbing Westward. The album is called Chasing Ghosts. It was released on March 18th, 2022. In this video, I'll just give a little background on the band, like what I remember from them. I'll talk about the songs, give my final thoughts, and I'll give my score at the end. So, Stabbing Westward, they're an industrial metal band. I remember them from the 90s, but I know they were played on the radio a little bit. I don't actually remember a lot of the songs. I listened to some of their older stuff, before doing this review, and I didn't really remember a lot of the songs. I mean, I remember the song "What Do I Have to Do." I remember that one being on the radio, but otherwise, I guess this band you can compare them to like Nine Inch Nails. They play that type of industrial music. They're not as heavy as a band like Ministry. I think they're more into that like alternative metal style. They also reminded me of a band like Linkin Park, but without that like hip hop element. I haven't really listened to the band that much. I do remember them from the 90s. I remember the name a lot. But anyway, after listening to this album, I thought it was pretty good. So let me talk about it. And this is actually their first full-length album since 2021. So it's been a while since they had a full length, but they did release a few EPs like in 2019 and 2020. This is pretty much a return after over 20 years as far as like full-length albums goes. The album has 10 songs, so let me just talk about them. So the first song is called I Am Nothing. It starts with some heavy electronic sounds and industrial drum beat. Now I made that Linkin Park reference before because the vocals did remind me a little of like Chester Bennington. I know this band probably came out like long before Linkin Park, but that was just like what I thought. The song is melodic. It has a catchy chorus. The vocals are clean and melodic. This is followed up by Damaged Goods. This one is a slow building intro. It has a techno beat, kind of like a slower drum beat, more of like an electronic ambience type of song with like the clean verse and the heavier chorus. Like a lot of the songs do have that as well. But it's just a very ambient and like spacey type of song. This is followed up with Cold. This one has more of like an upbeat rock tone, kind of like more of like a danceable beat and an ambience. Reminded me of that like 80s like goth bands. I'm thinking like The Cure, Susie and the Banshees, something like that. But it does have that like Nine Inch Nails sound again. At the same time, it's still a very like catchy type of song. Like the other songs, the verses are very moody in the verses, and the chorus is like a little harder. After that is Push, and this is one of the longer songs, about 7.5 minutes. The intro is very like atmospheric. It has these like layered tracks, and there's just like a lot of like layers of slow ambient electronic music. It has a bass line. It reminds me of like a Tool song, that type of bass, but with like layers of the electronic sounds. The song has that same formula of like the slower verse section and the heavier chorus. But this one, I guess it's like a little more of a subdued type of song. The lyrics deal with the relationship problems, as many of the other songs, and this one has like this moody, like goth rock tone to it. After that is Wasteland. So this one, it has that slow building intro, but this one has a little more energy. The verse section is a little more subdued. It has the heavier vocals in the chorus. It does get kind of catchy after a few listens. The song has some like heavy electronic sounds and beats. And the song has a mix of like those heavy and light parts. This is followed by Control Z, another one of those songs with like a more upbeat tone and a danceable beat. There are multiple like layered tracks, and there's lots of electronic music, and the drum beat's a little faster than the other songs, but at the same time it has that atmospheric sound, like most of the other album. After that, Crawl, they kind of slow it down a little bit. It has that atmospheric tone with the electronic sounds and beats. The vocals on this are very good. Lots of emotion in the vocals. The song is a slow builder with like the heavy sounds coming in towards the end of the song. But it's one of the shorter songs at 3.5 minutes. After that is Dead and Gone. This one, again, I keep saying this band over and over again, but it reminds me of Nine Inch Nails. Has that deep bass and techno beat. But this is one of the heavier songs. And I think this is the first one where you do hear that kind of like heavy kind of guitar riff sample like in the intro. The verse section has the electronic beats and sounds, but when the chorus kicks in, it just gets really heavy. So I like that one a lot. Then is Ghost. Another song reminded me of like Nine Inch Nails. Kind of has that same formula of like having the lighter verse and the heavy chorus. Song has lots of like layers of electronic music tracks, and the last song on the album is The End. This one is the longest song. Well, not really the longest, but it's like the second longest. It's a little over 7.5 minutes. This is a very slow, atmospheric type of song. It has those like sustained like keyboard sounds, and it's just mostly like the vocals. Like you don't really hear the drums. I think you hear it like a little bit like mixed very low. But the drums and the bass don't come in until about halfway through, and it's just a very slow, moody, emotional type of song, and it kind of like closes out to the album. So in conclusion, I thought it was a good album. You know, I know this is an industrial metal band, but the album as a whole reminds me more of like an early 2000s nu metal album. The songs are kind of like catchy pop songs, so if it was like 20 years ago, they would probably get like radio play on alternative radio. Most of the lyrics deal with like emotional issues, relationship problems, heartbreak, sadness. It's a very kind of like sad and depressing type of album. That's the overall tone to it. But at the same time, the songs are catchy and memorable. So I think this is an album I can get into a little bit. You know, I'm a fan of Nine Inch Nails. I do like that type of music. You know, that's what kind of reminded me the most. You know, I like that 2000s metal, you know, like Linkin Park, you know, 3 Days Grace, that type of thing. Thought it was decent. I'll give it an 8 out of 10. Let me know in the comments what you thought. Up next, I have some anniversary reviews. Actually, there are a few, 4 like big ones that be from Iron Maiden, AC/DC, Anthrax, and Deep Purple. I'll be doing those Monday through Thursday, and tomorrow I'll do one more. I'll probably do the new Cypress Hill album, and that's all. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe. Check out some of the other videos, and I'll see you all in the next one.